Good evening, folks. Welcome back to Zach with an H. He is Joey Kinsley, goes by the name Sir Yacht. If you know who he is, it means you are well connected in the interwebs. You enjoy food challenges, you enjoy Cleveland sports, and you enjoy someone that is very passionate about what they do. Maybe you saw his first pitch. Maybe you saw him on Worst Cooks in America. Maybe you live in one of the 10 Clevelands that he visited in 13 days. Heck, you know what? Maybe you know this guy as being the guy that interviews Browns players, the guy that does travel comedy. Did a month, went to all the state capitals. He stood in for Liam Neeson. Now he's standing in on the pod. Joey Kinsley goes by Sir Yacht. We have spoken before in a sports capacity. We're here to talk about your journey, about your life, and about the cool stuff that you get to do every day. So thank you for coming on, and really excited to get the full scoop.
Dude, if I could snap with both fingers, I would. That was probably the best intro I think I've ever gotten on a podcast or anywhere in my entire life. So that made me feel really, really good. I think when you just work on content, do things like that, you kind of forget about like the journey and things like that. So thank you for the reminder. That was fantastic, man. I'm looking forward to diving in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the only place to start is where everybody starts when everyone's a little kid. I want to be a fireman. I want to go to the moon. A football player, an astronaut, a football playing king in space, right? It could be anything you want. So what did young Joey Kinsley want out of his life?
Well, there definitely wasn't like TikTok or YouTube or things like that growing up. I definitely like wanted to be, like a basketball player or a baseball player, or even like a football player. Obviously, those things didn't pan out. But if it was something else, it would have been to be a dentist. My dad is a third generation dentist. I wanted to follow in his footsteps, or to be an ophthalmologist, an eye surgeon. All of those options clearly did not pan out, though. But that was the thought process at the time.
Okay, so you wanted to be a dentist. Some people wanted to throw footballs. Some people wanted to be a fry cook, and some people, honestly, they wanted to teach. You met a teacher you liked when you're young. They inspire you from what they do in their classroom. I respect that. So, from dentistry, and you talk about growing up as an athlete, you did play a couple of years of college basketball after your Rocky River basketball career. Got to do the research. You know exactly. I don't know the Rocky River mascot, so I'm only semi-prepared.
No, good. Pirate.
I've never heard pirate before.
It's a good one. It's a really good one.
It is a good one. So from Rocky River, you end up playing a couple years of college ball at Ohio Wesleyan. You might want to tell them, whoever was running Sports Info, you did not have a bio. They did not give you a bio on your Ohio Wesleyan page. It had your stats. You made a couple starts. You played in 50 games. They did not tell me anything about your high school career, but shout out Max Preps. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. You played college ball, so you had the opportunity kind of there. So what was the transition from deciding on to be a pro athlete to then going to actually playing in the state you grew up in? Well, you consider to be a wonderful place, but I consider to be a wonderful place, the state of Ohio.
Yeah, so it was kind of the only there was a few schools that gave me offers out of high school. And the reason why I didn't have a bio is I feel like you have to do something compelling in the sport of basketball to deserve a bio. And there's a lot better players in the state of Ohio than I was. So, anyways, I had a decent high school career. Was on some really great teams. We went to the Elite Eight my junior year in the state of Ohio, and then senior year we went to the district finals. So I get some looks from some small Division III schools. I think a Division II school in North Carolina. Settled on Ohio Wesleyan just because it seemed like a great fit. It was 2 hours away from home. I was dating a girl from home at the time, and I was very worried I was going to be homesick. So I was like, this is kind of the closest place that's going to give me an offer. So I go there and sit my freshman year, medically redshirt my sophomore year because I hurt my shoulder, weightlifting. Don't lift a lot of weights if you couldn't tell by my physique. And then junior, senior year, I played. And I was on the bench. We had some great teams. At one point, we were number 4 in the country. We were number 4 in the country for 3 days, and we got upset by Hiram. Yeah, so I played two years, my junior and senior year, and had a lot of fun. And I figured out after you play AAU ball in middle school and things like that, okay, maybe I'm not going to be an NBA player. There might be a chance, but we'll settle for whatever we can get.
When did you realize after playing a couple years at Ohio Wesleyan and going into the real world in a marketing role that maybe this might not be for you? Maybe you want to do something a little different.
Yeah, I think I knew right away that I didn't want to do it. I guess to go back to your original question of what I really wanted to be, I wanted to be some sort of entertainer, something in music. At least to the start of high school, I really wanted to be a musician, an art recording artist, have a record deal, all that stuff. That's where the name Sir Yacht came. I had a different name online called Paradise, and it was Paradise, but it sounded like paradise. And it was just taken everywhere. Like it just was not a very good SEO name. So I was like, okay, I want 2 syllables. I want some that people know I'm a band or artist, not a band. And I want water to be in there. So I came across Sir Yacht. And then when the ladies are calling you Sir Yacht in college, it kind of sticks. So that's where I got that name. But I always wanted to be some sort of entertainer, particularly in the recording music. So I've been in a couple of music groups, bands, things like that, my own solo stuff, still do that to this day. But it never really like clicked for me. And I remember having a conversation. We released a video like, I don't know, the 22nd and 23rd of December, 2017, a few days before Christmas. And I was like, this is gonna be the one. Like it was a song called Rose Gold by my band Maui Ski Club. I'm like, this is the song. And it just tanked. And I was so bummed. I remember talking to my friend Tom Ramella, and he talks to me, and he's like, I don't know, man, maybe God wants you to go in a different direction, man. Maybe you're supposed to do something else besides music. I'm like, dude, that's all I want to do. I work a shitty job right now. I actually didn't even have a job at the time. I was a valet at a country club, but I was in between positions. I worked for a pyramid scheme out of college, like a lot of people do. I then got into some beer sales, and I didn't have a job. I was a valet at a country club, and I was like, man, you play the comparison game. You see people online. You see everybody doing well. Everybody's doing well. They're not all doing well, but everybody's making money. I'm losing money. I owed $1,000 for my first job because one of my policy holders canceled their policy, so I had to go on a payment plan after I quit my job. So anyways, I'm going through all this, and my friend's telling me maybe you're not supposed to do music. I'm having an identity crisis. Well, anyways, long story short, absolute godsend for me. Browns go 0-16. I'm the only person to ever benefit from the Cleveland Browns going 0-16. My same friend, Tom Ramella, on New Year's Eve 2017 tells me to make a rant. I'm like, dude, I can't. Like, I don't make videos. I don't do any of that stuff. Like, I wanted to go celebrate New Year's with my mom's side of the family on the east side. They get a big house, and like they rent a house or whatever, a big part of a hotel. He's like, no, do it right now. I'm like, whatever. He finally convinced me. I was like, whatever, fine, I'll do it. I made a rant about Hugh Jackson and the Browns and screaming at the lake because they said he would jump in Lake Erie if they were to go 1-15 again. Well, they went 0-16. So I make this rant. I end up staying in Rocky River where I was at the time, and woke up the next day on New Year's 2018. My video had gone viral by that time on Twitter. A couple media conglomerates picked it up. SportsCenter Snapchat was the top video. Andrew Hawkins was talking about me, and he was a wide receiver for the Browns. Then he went immediately into like SportsCenter and SportsCenter Snapchat and things like that. So I'm like, holy shit. The first video I really put out on like Twitter, because I did a lot of like journalism and things like that. I thought I would be a journalist maybe one day, but it just was like, holy cow, I think this is what I'm supposed to do. And then I thought maybe I can do this and I can use it to get a radio job or be an actor, or maybe I can push people to my music or things like that. Like social media content, like it just wasn't a thing at the time. But to me, I didn't really care about the money and how I can make that directly from social media. It was mostly about like, let's just continue to make videos and see where it goes.
And if we fast forward to today, that Sir Yacht name certainly well known. You've become a regular with food challenges. It's kind of that most recent thing. A number of them, from the Red Lobster, all you can eat. The In and Out for a week over on the West Coast. You just finished the Costco challenge, which I'm sure we're going to be hearing about very soon.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the day-to-day grind? I know we're going to get to how you got there, but what is the day-to-day grind? Because to me, it's just so fascinating to go from trying to figure out your life and what can I do, how can I elevate myself, to these years later having it set and you're doing something that's so cool. And not only is it fun, it's cool, you do all this yourself, but you're supporting your lifestyle and be able to live how you want and do what you want. And I think that that's what we all wish we could get out of this life.
Amen to that, man. I mean, it's crazy hearing you say that and like thinking about it a lot. Like, my day to day just consists of me like having fun, doing really dumb shit, things like that. And because of that, and because of my belief in that, and I manifest things, I truly believe in that. Like, I'm going to be able to like have a family, support the family one day, and, you know, continue to do a lot of fun things. Doesn't mean it's not a grind. I think that's what a lot of people kind of mistake about social media content. But again, I'm not saying, you know, it's, you know, I'm not comparing it to like a, you know, a laborious like job. I don't know if I said the word correctly, but like a really hard on the body job. It can just be difficult in some ways, but it's also the most rewarding thing I, you know, accidentally got into. But so the day to day right now is, man, I'm a full-time YouTuber right now, which is the craziest thing. I think if you would have told me that a year ago, that'd be full-time now, I'm like, you're crazy. Because everything was like short form on TikTok, Instagram, Reels, things like that. Those are still a part of the picture, but there's a lot of volatility with that. There's a lot of like ups and downs, and it's not consistent. And YouTube is so hard to crack. So I finally cracked it. I made a new channel that was focused on this like food content. At least I was making, my first video was just about food. I'm like, I have a bunch of other ideas that are not food. Well, the first video crushed everywhere. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm a food guy now. I've done eating challenges and things like that. So it's not like it was a very new territory for me. But man, it's been like 6 months. I posted my first video this year on the food related stuff on January 17th. And you know, it's been 6 months or so. And man, it's like a grind. Like, I'm working hard every day, like script writing, editing, shooting the videos. Like, you know, I'll pull an all-nighter tonight till 6 a.m. By the time this comes out, the video will be called I Ate Nothing But the Costco Cookie for 3 days. But dude, I love it. Like, I love the grind. I love all-nighters. I love things like that. It reminds me of being in high school or college and just like staying up. And you know, I'm in a relationship, but I don't live with anybody. I don't have any responsibilities. I'm able to do this. And yeah, man, it's a crazy life for sure. And there's not a day that goes by that I'm not like, wow, I'm so blessed. But man, like, this is the thing. Like, I feel like in social media content, like the hardest thing, I'm not trying to like put myself on a pedestal, but I'm just saying how proud I am of the moment. The hardest thing I feel like to crack is YouTube long form. And it just crossed 100,000 subscribers the other day. And thank you. And it just, dude, I cried like the other day. Like, it's going to be out in this video that I'm editing right now. And I just was like talking about it, and I just like was overcome with emotion, because it's just something I've like really been chasing. And it feels like it's here. So we'll see how long it stays. But man, it's my day to day is I'm very blessed. I say that probably 5 times a day. Like, I'm just so thankful.
I think it's incredible when you can set out to do something that's so lofty that when you get that first thought, it's like, okay, cool. But now we need 99,999 more, right? You have a big presentation you have to do, and it's going to take you a long time when you get there, right? You know, you have to write a big speech for an occasion, and it's 20 pages, and you write your first sentence. It's a mini victory. All of a sudden, it's done. And of course, to build a big following, even in today's day and age, starting from scratch, and yes, you had this known brand. I think it's incredible to get there, and I think anything that you can do, and I think the big lesson even for anyone listening here is that Joey, Sir Yacht, has been at this for a while, and he's had success in all these different areas, which we're going to touch on in a moment. But to start in January of a year, and by June, to be at a mark where you're verified, you have full-time status, I think shows that when you believe in yourself and you believe in a vision, and you have a support system, which is obviously cannot be understated how important it is to have someone to talk to through your highs and lows over the course of a journey, that you can really do it and you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to.
Totally believe that, man. That's such a great way to go about, like, to think about it. It certainly is not something like anything in life, anybody, you know, you don't accomplish everything yourself. You're a part of a team. The things you learn growing up in school and on the court, playing sports, and, you know, I have an amazing family and girlfriend and friends and peers in the content realm that I learn from and support me and keep it real with me too. They don't make me out to seem like this. They're not yes men, yes women or whatever. They keep it real. They're I like people like that. I like keeping people around. But man, like if I didn't have the support system that I had, the amazing family, friends, and girlfriend, and all those things, of course I wouldn't be here. I'm so blessed in that regard as well. So it's a very good point that you brought up.
And I want to go back here because this, to me, I only learned this right before we started. Of course, every time you hop on, you're going to interview somebody, whether it's the first time or the 5th time or the 20th time. You want to know the basics. Who are they? What do they do? And what are some nuggets that they'll say, wait, you actually know that about me? So here's what I found I did not know. I've known a lot of what you've done. I've been following for a long time. Something I found to be very interesting was the 10 Clevelands. And it had to be done in 13 days because of a North Carolina wedding, which I hope went very well for you. I hope you had a good time, man.
It did.
Thing like that. So where do you get the idea? Because the beauty of this one, and I'll let you tell your story, Joey posted that if this post gets 10,000 likes on Twitter, now known as X, we still call it Twitter, gets 55,000 likes, well over the 10,000 expectation, I will visit the 13 different Clevelands in 10 days. There are 13 different cities named Cleveland all over the United States. Like, it's not all considered cities because some of them, Cleveland, New York, had 700 people, fishing town. But how do you come up with that? And then what was the actual journey like doing that? Because encapsulating your whole journey and everything that you've accomplished, the 13 Clevelands to me is something that I feel like would even be a great sitcom or reality show or anything if it was even continued.
Well, I appreciate that. It was a very fun journey. I'll talk about why I came up with it. I guess I'll talk about like why it even, like the opportunity was even there. So I was working for a company out in North Dakota called You Betcha. So I'd been full-time in content a little over a year at that point. I then get hired by a company that pays me a salary in exchange for to take on most of my brand deals. And then they basically wanted to become like a Midwest Barstool. So every 2 weeks I would go to North Dakota, I'd go back home. And then I would also get sent to, college football and NFL games across the country and make like man on the street content and other things like that. And man, it was so fun. And I was living this like really cool life in Fargo, North Dakota. Love that place and love the people that I worked with. Well, all of a sudden I get called in. I drive from Cleveland to Fargo and I get called in the next morning and I get let go. And they wanted to move into a different direction, which looking back now, I totally understand. Like their audience had some friction with the talent that they brought in and they just wanted to focus on their core competency that was doing really, really well. At the time, though, I was really bummed out. But I was also not fulfilled with what I was doing in content. We talked off air about why this podcast came to be. I had been doing a lot of sports content, a lot of Brown stuff, and man, you can only talk about certain stuff and then there's nothing new. There's literally nothing new. You got to make stuff up. And it was I just burned out. Like, you just burn out. So that's why I wasn't these skits. I wanted to make longer stuff. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I had 3 months of severance. They were very gracious. They only had to give me a month of severance, but I had 3 months basically to figure out my life. And, I before I'd made town videos, I made comedic promotional town videos. That's how I was able to go full-time in content because I would post them on TikTok. I work with visitors bureaus predominantly in Ohio, but also in Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, and the surrounding states. And so anyways, I make a pact to myself, like I'll figure out something to do in these next 3 months. So I took a week off just to like decompress because I was, really bummed. Say goodbye to a lot of friends in North Dakota that I would see all the time. And I wanted to aim bigger. So one night, this is like April 10th, April 11th, something like that, somewhere around there. And I was like, I want to go big. I want to do some big project, not some like just little rant, like something like I'm trying to figure something out. And I don't know. One thing led to another. And I'm looking through whatever, just Wikipedias of Cleveland. And then I like think of myself and I'm like, wait, I've heard of like, there's a town called Cleveland, Tennessee. I know there's one in Mississippi. I'm like, how many Clevelands are there? there's technically 28, but 13 of them are technically cities and where people live. And then you got Cleveland, North Dakota, Cleveland, Oregon, like whatever. There's like ones that are like, they're not even real. They're like 5 people maybe live there. They're just not really like towns or cities or whatever. So I was like, man, it'd be so funny like to go to this town, like to all these towns and just do it like in one project. And I got time, so maybe I do it. So I mapped it out and I was like, okay, this would take me probably like 10 days to do, about 10 hours, 9 to 10 hours of driving a day, but I could do it. And I put out, I'm just like, put out a tweet for shits and gigs. I'm like, if this gets, like you said, this gets 10,000 likes, I'll do it. Gets 10,000 likes in an hour and a half. This is on a Sunday night at like 9:30 p.m. at night. So I'm like, holy cow. And it gets up to like 55, 56, whatever it is now. So at that time, I'm like, all right, I just need to figure out like a 10-day stretch of when I can do this. And I'm like, maybe I'll do it. It's like April at the time. Maybe I'll do like June or July or something like that. And I looked at my calendar, man. And the next day, I had exactly 10 days to do it. I didn't do it because I only had 10 days. I did it because it was a 10-day trip that I designed, and looked at my calendar. I was like, I have exactly 10 days. And then I have to go to this wedding in North Carolina. So I'm like, I just talked to my mom and dad because I moved back home. And I was like, I'm going on a road trip tomorrow. I actually told them in the morning because they were in bed. They didn't even know. I was like, I'm going out. I'll be back in 10 days. I'm like, what? Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back in 10 days. I got to do this thing. Like, I'm going to go to all these Clevelands across the country. I love you guys. I'll see you. So I set out on this trip. I set up a GoFundMe to pay up for my funds because like I have severance, but I'm a month or two in. I'm almost done actually with my severance. And at that point, the money, I don't know. I just have to figure out how to make money from that point. The nice thing about my job at You Betcha was when I left, I was able to work with the agent I was working with. So instead of giving up 85% of the brand deals that come in, I made 85% from then on. But at that point, it was kind of like a dry run. Still trying to figure out my niche. Still trying to talk to my agent about some things. So long story short, I set out on this thing. I'm trying to raise $5,000. That's the estimation I have for how much it'll cost, like for gas and food and hotel and everything like that. But anyways, long story short, the project does so well. Probably because a lot of the people on Twitter paying attention in that first initial tweet, but it does well on every other social media. A company called G Fuel, which people may have heard of, gave me a brand deal worth a more than $5,000, we'll just say. And at that point, I was like, holy cow. So I was just like, whatever it goes to the GoFundMe will just go to the Greater Cleveland Food Bank. I'm not going to pocket any of that because of this brand deal. So at that point, I was like, I think there's something here. So if I continue to do bigger stuff, who knows what's going to happen. And long story short, that kind of spiraled into the Cleveland Browns interviews. That spiraled into this. And just like, if I continue to go big and bet on myself and take risks, good things will happen. So that's kind of that was a really important video project because it was the first big one. And it really showed me that like a proof of concept of, betting on yourself really does work.
And that's why they say Cleveland is the reason. It's not
Amen.
for no reason. Cleveland is the reason.
It literally was the reason. It was the reason, like 10, 13 times. Yeah. That was a fun trip, man. I met so many amazing people. It really forced me to go out of my comfort zone and talk to people. I was in Cleveland, Oklahoma on Easter. It's a suburb of Tulsa. And, I talked to people that were Bengals fans that actually knew because a lot of the cities knew that I was coming in just because there were articles being written about me, and I would meet up with reporters. I'm like, I got a half hour. I'll meet you on this exit of the highway. Like, dude, it was crazy. Like answering DMs and taking breaks. And it was like, that was so fun. Like, it was so crazy. Not a lot of sleep, but it's like one of those things that like you love the chaos. You're like, I miss that. Like, I wish I could recreate that. So it was a lot of fun.
And you look back at that and how it's gotten you here. So it's 2024 now. We're in a day and age where things like this are possible. We're living in the digital age. There's opportunities for anybody that really want them if they're willing to put themselves out there. So what would your advice, Joey, be to somebody, let's say they're in their mid-20s, they're trying to figure out what they really want, but they're considering getting into the space that you're in? What would you say to them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think for anybody that's in their 20s or at literally any age, but let's say their 20s, like you have like the 20, like I just turned 30 last October. You have so much time to figure things out. And in your 30s, you have so much time to figure things out. But when I was 24, 25, I was like, I gotta move out. I gotta have a good job. I gotta have everything figured out. I want to get married by a certain time. And like life kind of like laughs at you, and it's you don't have to. I feel younger now at 30 than I did at 24, 25 because my mindset is like, I'm the day to day just like enjoying everything. But my advice to people of that age group would be to just do like experiment, do things that like maybe your parents, maybe family, whatever, or initially like are like confused about. I remember, I was making social media content on top of working full time, and this was like working 2 full-time jobs, and really it was like working 1 full-time job because I would do the content almost like I was doing Pokemon Yellow in college. Like that was my real full-time job. And my bosses didn't like it, of course. My parents, my mom was supportive. My dad, he didn't really get the whole social media thing. Love him to death. He's my number 1 supporter right now. So no, like wouldn't be here without him. But he was more so worried, like, just make sure you're making enough money. Like, don't focus on that stuff because it's not going to be a job. I'm like, Dad, it's going to be a job. Trust me. Like, it's going to be a job. And now he's like my biggest supporter and things like that. But sometimes you can get like people that love you and want the best things for you. They maybe deter you away from like things that you want, that like you want to do because it's like not financially viable. I'm here to tell you, like, you can almost make anything work financially, like if you do it the right way. Determining how comfortable you are financially or whatever the case may be. But I never listened to, for growing up, whenever I listened to other people and just conform to what people wanted. But man, like this life is too short, man. We get one of these things, and I wanted to figure that out. And it took me a long time to figure out what was like a viable career. And like, I sit to you now, like I just became, I'm giving myself the title of full-time YouTuber as of this past weekend, but I've been full-time maybe for 2-3 months at this point, to where like I could just focus on that and nothing else and be okay. So I'm like brand new on the cusp of this, and this stuff could change, very rapidly tomorrow or whenever. But the point with all this is, I truly believe in betting on yourself and like not letting life kind of pass you by. Not everybody is going to do the same thing or have the same archetypes and want the same things in life. Some people want to settle really quick. Some people want to go out and do all this stuff on their own, then eventually settle down or never settle down. There's not a right or wrong answer to any of that, but whatever that is for you, whatever that is, just bet on yourself. And maybe you eat shit for a little bit, not literally like Aaron Goldhammer, but maybe you eat shit for a little bit and you save up for a bit so that you can go do this thing. So you can go take make some sacrifices initially to pursue this career. But like, I don't know, like, again, life is very short. We get one of these chances. And I just have met so many people that are retired right now that have had very successful careers, people, bankers, doctors, lawyers. Those aren't bad professions, but these people wish they were engineers, artists, other things like that. And they traded 40, 45 years of their life doing something they hated because they were told like this will make you money and things like that, versus the thing that was viable for like inside here. So that's why I encourage you to do in your 20s, go figure that out. And you don't have to have an answer for it. You could be 30 and be in the same damn spot and you're just damn fine. So I don't put a timetable on anything either.
Yeah, very well said. I think a lot of people get in their head at a certain age. Oh, my friend's doing this. Oh, my cousin's. Oh, my friend is this. My friend is that. And I think you learn that, especially in this social media age, we're seeing everybody doing everything. We're seeing, oh, this person got a new job on LinkedIn. Oh, this person got this. This person's posting about this. Then you're happy for these people, whether you know them or you follow them or you are just second and third connections of them. But at the same time, mentally sometimes, right, you're trying to compare yourself to them. And I think the beauty of now and the beauty of this day and age, or beauty and a curse, is that you can still be and do what you want to do. Nobody else's path is yours. It's kind of like when we're in school and our parents tell us they got an A, they got a C. Don't compare yourself. You got what you got, right? And I think that that's advice that can transcend any age, no matter what age you are. I really like the way you put that. Sometimes you're gonna eat some dirt. You're gonna get a mouthful of it. You're gonna get dirt cake, and you're gonna have to eat the whole thing. But eventually, you do it, you finish it, and you start from scratch. Right? Fall down 9 times, get up 10. Fall down 99 times, get up 100. And I think that nobody is a stranger to having that opportunity, maybe to pivot at some point in their life. And we all know people that have done it. Of course, you are one of those people. And it's delightful when you can hit that result that you really want.
Totally agree with that, man. Yeah, I've pivoted a lot in my career as well. Like I said, started out making Browns content, then was making other stuff, then challenges, then doing Browns quarterback interviews, and now I'm like eating food. Like I'm basically eating food, and that's the majority of what I do, and some fitness stuff as well. And it's just funny, man. Like it's not like I was like, all right, in a year from now, I'm going to do this. Like it's just, you have an idea, you have a plan, and then life kind of just takes you another way. But again, like I give myself a lot of reps. I put myself out there. I continue to take risks on a daily basis in terms like calculated risks, not things that'll, ruin my potentially kill me or anything like that, obviously. But yeah, it's amazing where life can take you if you believe in yourself, if you are positive and you try to treat other people the same way.
And from there, Joey, we're going to do the best part of the show now, called the rapid fire round. We're going to talk about some of your favorite things that people may or may not know. And first couple that we've gotten some wows. Learned that Utah has great takeout. Didn't know I was going to kind of learn that. Figured out who likes what books. People have these great family recipes that they've carried on. So let's see where we go. We're going to start out. What is your favorite book that you've ever read?
My favorite book I ever read. I don't read a lot of books, so I'm filibustering right now. But I had the pleasure of interviewing Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson last year, and I read his memoir the night before I interviewed him. And I think it was the coolest thing to meet Doug. And after reading this book, I really resonated with a lot of what he talked about in the book and things that I kind of practice in my life. So I'm going to say that one. But if there was another book, there's a book called Creativity Inc. And it's by the person that is the CEO of Pixar, and kind of just like the journey of like creativity and things like that.
Amy Wallace and Edwin Catmull.
Yep.
Excuse me. Very nice. Favorite TV show you've ever seen? Always a fun one.
I think the most impactful one on me is How I Met Your Mother. Just the writing in it, just the fact that they were pulling things out from season 9 and tying it into season 1, things that had filmed in season 1 for season 9. It's I think I have to go with that.
Very good writing, very good acting. Favorite movie?
Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Amazing cast. It's a rom-com, but it's in Hawaii. I love Hawaii. Had the pleasure of visiting it for 4 days in September on my Capitals trip. I get a lot of comparisons sometimes to Jason Segel, and I'll take it. Maybe like 5. Maybe 5 people have said it, but that's a lot for me.
And shout out Kristen Bell, currently going through Veronica Mars for the first time. So that movie's fresh. Seen it pretty recently. It's very good. Paul Rudd, the surfing scene. Jonah Hill makes a great appearance as a server who really just wants to get Russell Brand to music. It's a must see. You got Bill Hader. You got the Dracula opera. It's a must see movie.
Dude, you forget how many people are in the movie. You're like, that. What a star-studded cast. It was. Yeah. I still have to. I have it in my queue. Actually, I'm supposed to watch it the next week or so. We'll see.
And shout out Wreck-It Ralph, who makes his Fix It Felix makes his appearance. 30 Rock star. I can't remember his name. It's a great cast. I'm excited for your rewatch. Okay.
Thank you.
So something we didn't touch on earlier and very brief here. Made an appearance on Food Network, Worst Cooks in America. There's our background. This guy knows or doesn't about food. And first, where can we watch that episode of yours? And then I'll ask the food questions.
Yeah, so there's 2 seasons. I was on season 21 and 22. The reason I was on back-to-back seasons because it was during COVID. And when you are in New York, it's hard, and quarantining 2 weeks before you start filming, it's hard to make celebrities do that. So I was back in Cleveland for 3 days after the first season. You can watch both on Food Network or Discovery Plus. I'm sorry, you can watch both on Hulu or Discovery Plus. Season 21 and 22, but then I was back home for 3 days. I get a call saying, hey, we want to bring you back for the next season, like the best of the worst. So people from previous seasons we're going to bring back for a season. And I was like, okay, like when do you want me to come back? And they said tomorrow. So I flew back after being home for 3 days, quarantined again for 2 weeks, then was on set. So on for a decent amount of time. I'm not going to spoil when I get off, but yeah.
Okay.
Or if I get off, maybe I won. Maybe I won. Maybe I won both seasons, but I probably didn't.
Anything can happen. If you have the right editing, anything can look like you won.
Facts.
All right. So with that said, the prelude. What's your favorite food to cook?
I'm on this like big like chicken taco binge right now. It used to be cauliflower tacos and shrimp tacos. When you don't have like a lot of versatility in the kitchen, it's hard to, when you don't have a lot of reps in the kitchen, it's hard to really branch out. I work a lot on content and I don't have much of a life outside of that. So I like to make stuff that's kind of easy. So right now it's like chicken tacos is my big thing. I'll I'll dice an onion, grill it. I'll butter the tortillas, cook the shrimp in some Old Bay. Actually, I have like this Cajun seasoning called Slap Your Mama from somebody from Louisiana that recommended it to me. And yeah, get some lime juice on there, and it's good. It's good. I think I'm better than I was when I was on Food Network, but we'll see. I haven't let too many people try my food.
Hey, 10 Allen, you hear that? He's better than he was before.
Yeah, I wish. Oh my God, if I could be on Chopped, that'd be money. And they've done Chopped worst cooks. Like they'll bring people from worst cooks that like learned a lot, and they'll bring like them on Chopped sometime. I have to really refine my skills before I do that. I might honestly need a third season of Worst Cooks in America before I go do that, but that would be fun too. I love Ted Allen.
Favorite. Now you talk about how busy you've been, so you're supporting the local businesses. Your favorite food item to order via takeout?
Oh, good question. Damn. Dude, there's a place in Columbus called Wario's, and it's a cheesesteak place. And I just was in Columbus. My girlfriend lives there. And I get this steak. It's called the Steak Wario's Way, and it's the greatest sandwich I've ever had in my entire life. That would probably be my favorite thing. But I also I feel like I'm a guy that just loves a good pizza. I could order pizza for anywhere. You put up some pepperoni and sausage on it. That's probably my go-to.
All right. Warriors, I'll have to try that.
It's a banger. It's a banger.
Columbus. I'm going to tell them how I got there. Okay. We got 3 more here, and then we will wrap this up. Unique hobby that you have. A hobby that maybe you have that no one knows about. You don't talk about it. It's just something you like to do.
I guess a couple that I can think of. I take boxing classes, like just hitting a heavy bag, not fighting people. I'm too fragile. I love playing a game called Stardew Valley. Very, very fun game. And what else? I love collecting like shot glasses. So this is a 64 holder of shot glasses behind me. And usually when I go somewhere, I collect shot glasses. I collect mugs as well in the kitchen. But those are some things that I love. I'm always looking for like the right shot glass. I don't even do that. I honestly don't do shots. The last time I did a shot was when, okay, I've done shots recently, but the last time I really set out and took a shot was when Baker Mayfield randomly was back in Cleveland at the same bar that I was after he got traded to the Rams and Panthers, and he had to come back and move his stuff out. And we are mutuals on Twitter, and he bought me a shot. And I'm like, I'm not gonna say no.
Shout out. That's very cool.
Yeah.
All right, we got two more here. Favorite thing right now? Like you wake up, you do it most days. I know this is a seasonal question. It's a timely question. Every day is different. But what's something you like to do every day right now outside of work?
Yeah, besides YouTube stuff, I love going for walks. I'll go on. I try to get like 10 miles a day in of walking. I love being outside. I love listening to podcasts. I love going on calls and doing that stuff. Walks is kind of a great way of. I heard the best way to stay physically fit. I heard it from multiple people is like try to walk like 10 miles a day. So I'll combine that with some running sometimes, but. If I get like 20,000 steps and like 10 miles in a day, I'm feeling pretty good. So that's what I do. And I'll go up to Cleveland and, walk around and come back. And yeah, it's the best.
Respect. Some people are gunning for 10K, but it seems like 20K is the new 10K.
I think so. We'll see. Here's the thing though, like I am living by myself and don't have a family and things like that, so I'm able to do it, and I don't have like an official 9 to 5 job, so that's why I'm able to do it. Obviously, certain people may not have the time to do that, but I'm thankful that I do.
Of course. Then we got one more. I'm curious about this one here. Start, bench, cut with fruit smoothies, milkshakes, and coffee.
Start coffee, bench, milkshakes, cut fruit smoothies. I don't have a whole lot of fruit smoothies. I don't really have a whole lot of milkshakes. I have protein shakes like every day, although my blender just broke this morning. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's okay. I was fried, but I do have coffee. I just ran out of Keurigs, but I need to get like an actual coffee thing. I'm literally drinking cold coffee from this morning. Yeah, coffee for sure. I love coffee. It's kind of my personality at this point. Yeah.
Okay. Respect. Coffee is the driver of motivation. It's the bringer of energy, and it served each one of the three served their purpose. My order would be very different. Smoothies would be starting, but
nice.
I fully respect the coffee in the starting role, because I think 29 out of 30 GMs would probably start coffee.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think so. I think coffee is very like communal. You can meet anybody for a cup of coffee. If you want to go on a date with somebody, if you don't want the pressures of going to dinner, you can go get a cup of coffee, or somebody that you don't really know. So I love the communal aspect of it. I think it's very, very fun. Oh, another thing that I do that maybe I don't advertise a lot. I play a lot of pickleball now, and I love, like, my videographer Bill was trying to get me into it. I'm like, dude, I'm not playing pickleball. It's like what old people play. It's so dumb. I played it, dude, and I got hooked. Like I love playing pickleball. It is so fun.
I played once about a month ago. It was my first time since senior year of high school. Went 2-0. It was nice getting the wins. Figured it out pretty quickly. It is a good game. I always wondered, like, when John Isner retired and Jack Sock retired from professional tennis to go play professional pickleball. I'm like, that's a curious move, but I think it's a great game. Certainly a growing game. It makes you miss tennis almost. A lot of local parks stop with their tennis courts and switch to pickleball, so it's certainly a different era for that reason. But respect. So you have a winning record out there?
Yeah. I've beat my videographer a lot. He's been taunting me because he got a game on me yesterday, but I beat him the other 5 games that we played, and I've beaten him 27 out of the last 28 times we've played. So he's pretty good, but I'm a little bit better. So the height definitely helps when playing. I'm not the best yet, but I'm slightly improving every day. So right. I'll talk a little trash when I play pickleball. It's fun.
Respect. All right, Ash Ketchum. He's gonna become the best.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna become the best. He's gonna follow in your footsteps 25 years later. Okay. Joey Kinsley, known as Sir Yacht, where can we find all of the work that you do?
So I guess the thing I focus on right now mostly is YouTube. You can find me at Sir Yacht on YouTube, but then I also TikTok, Instagram, and things like that. And before we go, I know we wanted to touch on my story of how I was stand-in for Liam Neeson. So the only reason I want to tell you about that is because I think it was very incremental to like betting on myself and things like that. So I was on a movie set in 2018 that came up here. It's a Channing Tatum executively produced movie or show. It was a pilot. So you record a pilot, you pitch it to Amazon. That's who it was like paying for it. And Amazon was going to choose 1 out of 3 shows. And the show was called College. And it's basically the college version of Euphoria, which is high school. But it was crazier than Euphoria. Like the thing, I couldn't even tell you the things that they were recording on there. It's insane. Anyways, I was casted as a fraternity brother that wore a Speedo and a visor, and that was literally it. They had to shave my chest because I have a little chest hair here. It's wild. But I got paid a decent amount for 2 days. I think I got a couple grand to be on set for 2 days, and I was like, this is awesome. I blew it on a trip to Tampa a month later for a weekend. I'm like, I hate myself. But anyways, the reason why I say that is because I was in this database for this casting agency, and the next year they contact me and they say, you had the most similar build in our database to Liam Neeson. We want you to be the stand-in. I'm like, holy cow, that's crazy. I'm like a Walmart Liam Neeson. But anyways, they asked me if I can be the stand-in, and I talked to my boss and they said, we'll let you do it for a week. So I said, okay, I'll do it for a week. They were going to be including for 4. So then I do the stand-in stuff. It's going really, really well. And they're like, man, we want you to be on for the full 4 weeks. And I'm like, okay, I'll try. I'll try. So I go back to my boss. I talk to my boss, and I'm going down to Charlotte for the weekend with my girlfriend at the time, visiting her family. And I'm on the phone with them. Like, they want me on set for 3 more weeks. I'll just be remote, and I'll do both. Like, I'll make sure to do 40 hours a week, and I'll continue to do that. My boss at the time, he like just snapped. He was like, you think that career is going to support your girlfriend? You're making $15 an hour on a movie set. You think you're going to do all this and you're going to be successful? At the end of the day, you got to not go after your dreams at some point and start going after the finances. You know, I was supposed to be a Major League Baseball player. I was in the minors and I quit to help run my dad's company and take it to where it is now. And you need to go chase something that'll make you hundreds of thousands of dollars, 6 figures and more. So you either stay at this place or you quit. And without even thinking, I said I quit. And he said, okay, guess we'll not see you anymore. 3 days later, after talking to his brother, he hired me back. And I don't know, man, just you bet on yourself. I worked with Liam Neeson. He comes up to me for the first day. He goes, hi, I'm Liam. I said, I know who you are, man. I was freaking out. But man, he's the nicest guy. One of the nicest people I've ever met, and it has nothing to do with him being, you know, a world famous actor. And it was just, I was like, I'm not trading this for anything. Like, how many times are you going to be able to say you worked with Liam Neeson for a month? So very, very thankful, a lot of fun. And I was able to keep my job after that.
And it was game recognized game. Hi, I'm Liam. Hey, what's up, man? Let's do this. And now here we both are. We know the name Liam Neeson, and we're really starting to know that other name on the right side of my screen here. So, Joey, a pleasure to reconnect and excited to continue to follow this journey and see what comes next.
Appreciate it, man. It's always good hopping on, and let me accomplish a couple more things, and we'll come on here and talk about it again. But excited to see you diving into things besides sports for your mental sanity, I'm sure, but also because you're just a very curious guy. I see all the things you post online of, you know, you're such a history buff, and I learned so much about the Cavs, and I just love the respect that you have for the game and like people and history and things like that. And I definitely have that same respect. So I'm excited to see you diving into some things, man. And I'm excited to see where Zach with an H goes.
Appreciate it, Joey. He's Joey Kinsley, also goes by Sir Yacht. I'm Zach. That's Z-A-C-H. If you want to spell it with a K, you might want to go somewhere else. And my closing note, yeah, I agree. 2 thumbs down for the audio listeners. Zachary Richardson, the potential #1 pick of the NBA draft, spells Zachary, Z-A-C-C-H-A-R-I-E. Much respect to you on being one of the best basketball players in the world, Zachary, but you spell Zachary with 2 C's and an I-E. I don't know what the Zach would look like with a Z-A-C-C-H. I know that whoever wrote the birth certificate did that, and yes, it is a French name. Spelling is different when names are international or American. But buddy, please do not have a big career. I don't want to see this Zachary name all over my screen. There's never been an NBA player. Here's my final nugget, and you like my history. I got this one for you. Every player in NBA history with my name, Zach, has been Z-A-C-H. There's been no Z-A-C. There's been no Z-A-K. There's been no Z-A-C-K. Every single one.
Wow.
Has been Z-A-C-H. And here's this guy, lottery pick 2024, is about to break that.
Unreal. Well, Zach Edey is going to help you out for sure. He's definitely going to help you out. But my worst nightmare, if I were you, would be that he gets so famous, he gets to like this LeBron level, that when you put your name into a search engine, it autocorrects and says, did you mean Zachary with 2 C's and an I-E at the end? You're like, what the hell? What are you talking about? We have lost we have lost our touch in America. What is going on?
And to that, I would say Sacre Bleu. And then that would be it. Perfect way to end. We will see you next time on Zach.